Good evening. I'm Franco Terrazzano.
And I'm Chris Sims. Breaking news, politicians are wasting your money.
Also breaking news, water is wet.
Winnipeg has a serious case of tree envy. Mayor Brian Bowman didn't think the city's 28-foot-tall fake Christmas tree was up to size. So the city spent $260,000 on major tree enhancements. Someone forgot to tell Bowman that size isn't everything when it comes to blowing taxpayers' money.
Now, viewers of the show know that I like to party as much as the next guy, unless that next guy is Gill. Well, he was a bureaucrat in Kamloops that expensed $500,000 over 5 years on fancy meals, booze, jewelry, and thousands of dollars on a champagne room. Party on, Simmer.
I guess. This just in, Ottawa has a shortage of taxpayer-funded luxury sports cars. Thankfully, Mayor Jim Watson is to the rescue. Watson just handed out $3 million to a Porsche dealership, which is right next door to an Audi dealership and right next door to a Maserati dealership.
You know, it's just good to see politicians thinking of the little guy these days.
The right thing to do.
In other news, Vancouver taxpayers' stomachs are rumbling after the city is spending $645,000 on an outdoor toilet. Critics are calling on Vancouver City Council to come clean on why its outdoor lavish loo is 3 times the price of Prince George's.
Why do you do this? That's really gross.
The unsolved mystery plaguing the Manitoba legislature has finally been solved. How do you scare a polar bear? You don't. They're huge, they're apex predators, and they're not scared of anything. Yet, the government of Manitoba spent $150,000 replacing diesel dune buggies with whisper quiet electric vehicles to not scare the polar bears.
Ontario political parties got their snouts stuck in the trough once again. This time, they couldn't wait to scarf down their political welfare, and they needed it before the election. We reached out to Doug Ford's campaign staff for comment, but they're too busy nailing down lawn signs that you paid for.
According to field research, the great thing about Netflix and chill is that it's a cheap date.
Your research?
But Netflix and chill ain't so cheap if you're spending $140,000 on sofas like the government of Newfoundland and Labrador. A taxpayers group is calling on the province to ensure sippy cups and cushion covers, because if 4 couches cost $140,000, then taxpayers don't want to see a cleaning bill.
A new loophole has been found in Quebec. Instead of giving Bombardier hundreds of millions of dollars, the government of Quebec gave the plane formerly known as Bombardier hundreds of millions of dollars.
And we finally have the answer to the age-old question: if a government casino is shut down, do its employees still get paid overtime? Yes, they do. Even though Lotto Quebec closed its casinos, its employees still made off like one-armed bandits, taking home $1.9 million in overtime.
The Federal Parks and Rec Board, sometimes referred to as the National Capital Commission, is on the lookout for their own Ron Swanson. Why? Because they blew almost $11 million renovating Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's fancy lake house. Included in the bill is $2.5 million for a backup cottage.
You know, I have a nice couch, but I guess some people get a multi-million-dollar doghouse. In other news, the sequel to M. Night Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense is blowing the box office, along with taxpayers' wallets. The movie, titled Taxpayers See Dead People with 6-Figure Expense Accounts. Scary. Governors General, they get a $200,000 per year expense account for the rest of their lives and up to 6 months after their death. Now that is a send-off.
Scary for taxpayers. The big bad wolf strikes again. The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation spent $250,000 studying a home equity tax, then another $200,000 to understand their own study. Critics are warning that the CMHC wants to huff and puff and tax your home equity down.
A cold front in Ottawa has sent politicians reaching deeper into your pockets. Members of Parliament have been busy giving themselves not 1, not 2, but 3 pandemic pay raises. We spoke to an anonymous member of Parliament about these pay raises, and he said, quote, "Well, can you blame us? The carbon tax is driving up the cost of everything these days."
Especially at the grocery store. So how do you turn a free service into a $1,000 expense? Just add government. In Canada, any police station will pick up your firearm free of charge if you don't want it anymore. Canadian Heritage didn't want their firearm anymore, and they even got the police to come pick it up. But not before spending $1,000 studying how to get the police to come pick up said firearm. A taxpayer group is demanding Canadian Heritage boycott Roll Up the Rim this year so a free coffee doesn't turn into a $10,000 expense.
You know, that's actually kind of impressive.
I'm not even mad.
Speaking of impressive, when most Canadians get lost, they go a few blocks in the wrong direction. Not Canada's Finance Minister, Chrystia Freeland. She went to the United Nations COP26 climate conference in Glasgow, Scotland, but she ended up staying 86 kilometers away in Edinburgh. Instead of taking the train, she billed taxpayers $3,000 for a luxury chauffeur service because climate.
Science checks out.
Environmental critics are demanding now all ministers download Google Maps before trying to save the planet.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the taxpayer update.
Good night and watch your wallet. Hey, can I get my beer back now? Come on.
I guess.